Greetings, dear ones. It is Friday, the 11th of March, and today's continuing series on meditations and explorations into themes arising out of the situation in Ukraine. I want to first off apologize for not being here for several days. Excuse me. I had a family emergency, so I haven't been able to actually set up the live situations. But this has been today's talk and meditation and deep dive has been kind of building and working all week long. So, those of you who regularly tune in or listen at a later point on YouTube may have been already feeling some of today's theme. And on the post for today, or the event creation for today, it has a Native American saying, quoting, "It's a good day to die." And those of you who have studied indigenous practices and particularly Native American teachings may know what that means. But the real title today is Good Death. And that saying or that philosophy is part of that, but I've really been struck by, as we all have, the death in so many places, but at this point in time in Ukraine, and the death of innocents and civilians. And as I sat in a hospice room with someone who is in the process of leaving this plane of existence, CNN was on with all the reports about Ukraine and all of the death and the destruction, and both sides with their perspective. And it just felt so strange to see on the television so much death, and how we as individuals and as a culture deal with death or look at death or encounter death, and the differences that there may be in other cultures, and how death is viewed, handled, dealt with. And then there are other cultures who completely see it quite differently than, say, Western cultures, Western civilization. And I was and always have been very struck by and feel the impact of how kind of distanced and lightly we take death in some ways in this country. That we can hear of thousands of deaths, be it in a natural disaster, be it in different places in the world which are at war, be it hundreds of deaths in the terrorism attacks, or in our country in mass shootings. And, it's a big headline, and there's a big play for people's emotions in the moment to tune into that particular news station and how they're presenting it, and, like immediately bringing in family members of those that have died, etc. But then we go on to the next thing very quickly. And over the many years, I've been exploring and teaching about death and living and spirituality, and how it is rather a continuum instead of an ending. And the many movies and the violence in the movies and violence in video games and um, other media has in some ways numbed us or buffered our actual feel of death. And it's still, even when it's close to us, a family member, a friend, a loved one, again, then we feel it, but how much? There's gradients, there's variations, many different variations of how we feel or not feel in general. And that's what the many processes that when I'm working with clients individually, when I'm working in groups, is to actually teach people how and help people how to feel, or help people to feel. Because as children, we create a defense system that perfects and is constantly adaptable and constantly becoming more complex and sophisticated to protect us from feeling. And yet, the whole process of um, coming to wholeness, coming to freedom, coming to self sovereignty is through those emotions and those places that we deeply feel things. And so when we, have so much death around us in the movies, etc., it loses a lot of the profundity of what's going on. And um, many years ago, let me back up. I think that that was another observation during COVID. We kept hearing numbers go up, and thousands of people dying in assisted living, or old folks' homes, as they're sometimes referred to. And we kind of shut it out. Oh, gee, that's a shame. And still the numbers climb even now in other countries. Uh, China is having a huge wave of Omicron going through. And again, 1,000 people a day are dying. So, when you hear that, what do you feel? Oh, gee, that's a shame, but it's really far away. Nothing I can do about it. I mean, I can really connect to and relate to the sense of helplessness and powerlessness, but I think that this whole process of evolution is about us being able to feel more so. And those of you who are sensitives have a tendency to, shut it out or block it away because you feel it so deeply. And I'm talking about sensitives, I'm talking about old souls, I'm talking about holistic practitioners, I'm talking about spiritual seekers. And that is actually the opposite of the game. It is the opposite of what you were called here to do. And it's born out of the need to protect and stop feeling intensity on the part of your defense system, because it does not know that you are now an adult. It does not know that you now have the capacity to be able to feel through and transmute those pieces, allowing you to have more of you spiritually, energetically, um, humanly, maturely, and then be able to utilize your gifts, talents, abilities towards the recreation or um, redoing of these causes for so much death. And, that's what the upcoming 3-month program is going to be about. It's personal and planetary redesign. And we're working very intensely in very small, there's a very limited number of people that are going to be able to be in this group. It is for those who are truly ready to change their life, to make a difference, to step into their soul mission, to step into who they were meant to be. And it is through your own transmutation that that occurs. So if it's feeling overwhelming, there's so much going on, what can I do? Yes, I can send money, I can, sit in meditation or prayers, but there is so much more you can do by becoming more of who you are, because that allows you to bring through more of your soul capacity, more of your soul knowledge, more of your soul abilities, gifts, talents, knowledge from even other existences, to be able to reweave the tapestry of this planet in its evolutionary process. Not that there's anything wrong with it or the way we have been. It was chosen by all of those participants in this Earth project that we were going to study, we were going to explore a particular flavor of duality within a universe of duality. But now we've studied the heck out of it, and we've explored it to almost its fullest extent. And so now there has been a soul vote. There's been many different points that some of the great teachers still alive here today and some of those that have passed have noted, whether it's in 87, there's been conjunctions, there's been different points in our galactic history where it appears that it seems that there has been a vote, and we are going to go forward, or we're trying to go forward with this evolutionary leap, which entails changing human nature on the basest levels. Those issues, aspects of humans related to first and second chakra aspects, issues, death and life, existence, being in a body, physical, the threat of death in so many ways, issues surrounding power, issues surrounding sexuality and sexual power over, and prosperity and passion. All of those are the more positive ones. And all of those are what are in the process of being evolved, because we can no longer continue with someone, whether it's a country's leader or whether it's a parent to their in relation to their child, thinking that they have the right to do what they will because they can. And this power over, this control, this suppression, this use and abuse is no longer feasible in a species that in our species. And moreover, it's coming to a head because we treat the land and nature and animals and the earth in that way, and it's killing us. So it's no longer feasible to continue the same exploration that we have been during the Piscean age. We have moved into the Aquarian age, and it's not just about cognitive awareness and enlightenment, it's about becoming. And what does this have to do with the subject of death, or a good death? In that I'm referring to conscious death. And so often people put it off, don't want to talk about it, don't want to deal with it, don't want to feel it, don't want to acknowledge it even in their own system, as they are getting perhaps more ill or what have you. And this creates such a disconnect that we are most often unconscious. It still comes as a surprise, or we regret what we didn't do. We do not have a good death because we are not happy or pleased or satisfied or feel complete in our good life. Many years ago, I was an organizer and participated in a beautiful conference on deathing right here in this area with many different participants um, and teachings. It was a 3-day conference, and there were many different options being spoken about. There were many different methods of helping through the deathing process, whether it is specialists in music for the deathing process. There are many therapists, music therapists, who specialize in coming to the home or the facility and particularly playing music of a particular frequency to assist in the deathing process. Being more conscious, people being able to choose, do you want to be home? Do you want to be in a facility such as hospice? Samaritan being one of the participants in that conference, and which once again is in my life with a beloved person. And their acknowledgement and respect and valuing of the deathing process. Many years ago, I had a very, again, intimate relationship with hospice when it was first starting out 35 years ago. And it has come a long way, and yet at the same time has not changed. And that process of allowing a person the time and the space and the way in which they choose to pass from this existence to another. And it is so powerful when that can be done in a very conscious way, choosing before one loses the ability to speak and talk and interact with people, and who you want to speak to, who you want around you, what visitors, and to really have those people involved acknowledging, respecting, and giving the person that's passing the space and honor to do so in their way. Well, because more often than not, it is the loved ones, the family, who are making choices that benefit them and their difficulty in the person's passing, rather than committing to the person's choice. I have been trained and have experienced, practiced many, many, many years of crossover practices of people, of animals, of land, of beings who are stuck in the in-between, sometimes referred to as ghosts or spirits. And each and every one is very, very unique. And each and every process is different because that particular soul, be it a person or be it an area of land, has specific connections to other existences, beings that they are aligned with, and those must be used. There is no blanket way of crossing people over. There is no one place, one group of beings, one avenue. And the more conscious one can be in the process, you can actually be much like what I teach when I'm teaching what's referred to as meditation, is going down and within you and being in that in between space of both non physical and physical. And someone who is crossing over is able to actually tap into both places. And so the more facility for that, again, the more choice in where and how you want to do the next adventure. So, conscious deathing is going to come more and more to the foreground as we, as a people, as a species, become more conscious. So I encourage you to be active, to really feel into. I've had several clients this week, and actually over the last couple weeks, because of what's going on in Ukraine and because of the potential for something larger, nuclear, etc. Many people are now questioning or wanting to really feel into their spirituality so that they are feeling good and strong in their belief system, so that should something happen, they are more comfortable, they are more at peace. And this has come up to a goodly extent through COVID, because there's hardly anyone throughout the past couple of years that hasn't been touched by the passing of someone with COVID. But now, so more than ever, that again, those first chakra issues, our existence, life, death, they're right here for us to take advantage of and explore what our experience is with death, with the threat of death, with the fear of death. So I've had clients, one in particular this week, who has been very distressed for quite a few years, in that what he feels that what he was taught and what surrounded him as a child for spiritual teaching or religion is no longer fits him, no longer feels right, no longer has, if it ever did, he says, give him what he needs and wants. So we have a huge opportunity right now to utilize what's going on, at the very least, in relation to death and life, and how we feel about that, and what we feel happens afterwards, and our ability to explore that here and now. And that's one of the main focuses of what I teach is, and what I do with clients, is the more you have of you, the more you are in you as you are able to feel the divinity of you, and thereby feel, not just know, not just think, not just, oh yeah, I read and so it must be true, but actually a full out body, energetic, emotional, profound feeling, full out body, mind feeling of your own divinity, which automatically unifies you with the divine, however you see it, whatever you call it, which then instantly allows you to experience and feel the divinity in all things, be it an ant, or be it the actions of what appear to be a detrimental and harmful political leader. Everything is in divine order. This is what's going on in Ukraine. What this person is doing is accelerating our and catalyzing our process of evolution. So, the upcoming program, the Personal and Planetary Redesign 3-month program, is a very accelerated program, and we are going to constantly be bringing forward that which is going on in your life and how it actually may be reflected in on the larger stage or out in the world or in our society or in some way, because they are absolutely connected. And whether you use your own experience of the challenges you have in your life, or what's going on on the outside in the world, to catalyze and provoke and spark your own exploration, not through your mind, but through your emotions. And that's what we'll be doing over the 3-month period. But it will be extremely accelerated because we will be working in a group. And that just exponentially expands the power. And so there can be very, very quick and permanent change. This is not about cognitive or behavioral, although that will be just in the mix. But this is about actual physical, emotional, psychological, energetic, spiritual shifting. So please keep note of the date. We're looking at I've had to adjust things, so we're looking at a beginning April date. There will be 2 different events that will allow you to have a taste of or an experience of kind of pre-courses to the 3-month course. And again, please keep your eyes peeled for those dates and that information. And of course, always please contact me. So we're talking about conscious death today, and I will reference once again the Native American just before we're getting ready to drop in. I can feel the energetics. Everything has been, moved and lubricated, and all the ingredients are in this fantastic alchemical crucible for you to potentially experience a deep response within you as we go into the energetics. But I want to touch on the Native American philosophy of a good day to die. And I'll be talking about this a little more in the next couple days. But basically, it is living in such a way that you are good with yourself. You are good with those around you, your loved ones. There's nothing unsaid, undone, discordant. You've resolved that within yourself and or with the person. There is nothing that you are also good with your larger community, that you are good with the earth, your relationship. Do you feel you have done the utmost to protect and to preserve and to safeguard the land, nature, animals for generations to come, according to this Native American philosophy? Are you good with the divine? In other words, is your relationship so close and so intimate and so felt that it is a good day to die? And that's not promoting death. It's not speeding up death. It's not calling it in. It is on a constant daily basis making sure that you are good with all things. And lastly, I'd like to bring in the helpers that we have today and throughout the week. Today, very strongly, the element or nature aspect of lakes came in, and lakes signified depth. They it's asking us to not take the shallow way, but instead to dive deeply within. Do the exploration, do the research. Do not cut corners, just take someone else's word for it, or um, listen to outside leaders, religious, political, news media, what have you, for your information and for your belief system, but to really go within and explore. Because when you're doing it from that mental place or from an outer authority place, you may not have the whole picture. But when you are in touch with and really know what you feel within, you do have a much wider picture. That's why I refer to your what's sometimes called the higher self as your wider self. You have a wider and wider perspective the more deeply you know yourself and have yourself, and live from that place. And the animal that has come forward for today to assist us is the raven. And raven is about magic and illumination and creation. It is said by some Native American tribes that the raven placed the sun and the moon and the stars, bringing light both day and night. And that can also be seen as bringing awareness, bringing knowingness to that which is not seen as wonderful or the dark, and that which is visible and in the light. We also have the planet of Jupiter, which is the largest of the planets, and it is about authority and expansion and influence, and as well as abundance, being the largest planet. It represents philosophy and spirituality and higher learning. So, these came after I was preparing and hearing what today's talk was about. So they all fit in very beautifully to assist us, to help us, and as well, all of those people who are in the moment crossing over or in the process of crossing over. So this is what is in this alchemical mix today. We're sitting deeply in a crucible created by all the factors that I've mentioned and all those connected to it, by all of you who are listening either now in this moment or at a later point. You will listen to it. The parameters of time and space do not limit your participation, whether it's in this moment or whether it's a year from now. There is a much larger picture that includes you at any point in time. So you are in this mix. You are part of this sacred geometric configuration. As complex and as sophisticated as it may be, you are here with this confluence of energetics here and now. This is about alchemy, meaning that it takes many different ingredients of those that are apparently destructive, as well as those that are considered creative. All of this is in the mix, and the energetics and the helpers are stirring and blending and allowing for the deepest and widest potential for you as a listener and participant in this moment. Therefore, I invite you to really sit in your chair, on your sits bones, if you know where they are, and really just allow your back to your shoulder blades to just kind of come a little bit close together and down, which automatically brings or engages your skeletal structure and allows for you to relax into your inner world rather than having to monitor and hold up your body. And those of you who practice a meditation that goes up and out through your third eye, I encourage you to try a different process, which entails letting that third eye and mind take a back seat, go have a rest, sit it out, and instead to allow yourself to actually feel your body, even if that means initially just kind of running your hand over all parts of your body, to bring you to more sensation of your body, which will then allow you to drop inside of you to have quite a different experience than perhaps other meditation practices you have known. And oftentimes I invite you, those participating, those listening, to say to yourself or out loud, I am asking and I am allowing my body. I am asking and I am allowing my energy field. I am asking and I am allowing my wider self, that's your soul self. I am asking and I am allowing my guides and teachers and masters. I am asking and I am allowing all of me to join me here and now, assisting me, guiding me down and within me. For there is a universe within you I refer to as your inner verse. And your wider self and your energy field know exactly how to help you come down and within to experience that internal knowledge, that internal wisdom. For little by little, as you allow for this sinking downward and inward, downward and inward, it will enable you to have an experience, not just a vision, not just a thought, not just quote unquote seeing. For that is still very limited. The entire universe is within you, and therefore a much wider and limitless, boundless experience. keep allowing. Many of you may actually feel yourself getting heavier in the chair. Some of you may feel more substantive. Some of you may be feeling sleepy, actually. Some of you may feel the edges of you becoming less defined. All of the ingredients in this alchemical mix, including, as always, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, all forms of each. As well, we always have the elements in such a process participating with us, bringing into right relationship the earth, air, fire, and water of you. And as always, I call in and call upon the Chief to center us within the directions of the east, the west, the south, the north, the above, the below, and the within. Those of you who are energy sensitive are probably experiencing sensations of energy either within your body or around your body, within your energy field. No worries if you do not. Each person's experience is very unique and individual to you, which is why I do not run guided meditations, for it is up to your energy field and your wider self to bring you down and within your internal world to the exact right space-time, the exact right existence, the exact right experience for you at this point in time, within this larger container, alchemical container or crucible, to bring you information, a sensation, or an experience, felt experience of perhaps your wider self, of perhaps the expansiveness within you, of perhaps a sensation of the oneness or the divine in whatever way you experience that. Keep allowing yourself, your energy field to drop down and in through you to your inner verse. Having faith and trust in your own soul self, having faith and trust in your own energy field, that they know exactly how and where to bring you. How and where and what to bring you, to experience, to feel, to know. You need not follow my words at all. I'm merely speaking to transmit and amplify the energetics that are present to enable you to have a truly felt, sensating experience of you and your internal as well as to assure you that the connection is still there, that the video or recording has not stopped. So simply feel, simply sensate, simply experience your own inner exploration. Again, not through the mind, not through your third eye, for that takes you to a particular plane or a particular bandwidth of frequency that may not be your ideal. Simply down, simply within. Even if that feels like you're falling asleep, know that you are actually just dropping into a deeper state of you or an altered state, sometimes termed trance, which merely means a less defined, less physical, more expansive, wider, larger personal, internal experience. Through my voice, I am simply transmitting the amplification of the transmissions within this container and within the complex sacred geometrics of all parties participating physically in this moment, those who are consciously participating, those who will participate in future, and all those participating perhaps unconsciously, as well as, of course, all of those participating in the wider consciousness. Feel yourself sensate any energetic aspects of you. Simply experience this journey, this exploration, this allowing yourself to have a deeper presence. So I'm really aware of the lake coming forward at this moment to help with that deep diving down and in to you, by you. And in this profound and deep internal experience of you, you are being brought into a connection with your internal wisdom, allowing for potentials of transformation, transmutation, possibilities and potentials for depth or widening of your experience of self, knowing of self. Possibilities and potentials of touching in a very real, felt, experiential way. Helpers, guides, those that have crossed over before, ancestors, and perhaps even your own experience in another existence, sometimes referred to as a past life, enabling you to deeply, profoundly remember in your body, in your energy field, in your wider self's experience, your own eternality, your own continuance, beyond what we as humans refer to as death. Realizing in a very real way the unity, the oneness within all experiences, within all things, within this universe. And ever so gently, ever so lovingly allowing your energy field and your wider self to guide you, lead you, without pushing, without forcing, without your mental engagement, but instead simply riding, simply experiencing the process of moving from a less physical back to a more physical existence, and the delicious in between space. For therein often comes information, awareness, ahas, a symbol, a sound, a shape, a memory, any tiny clue or bite of information your wider self wants you to gift you. In your own transformation and evolutionary journey. And only when and as you have a felt knowing of when it is right, only then allow your eyes to open. And if you choose to stay within this space, you are perfectly welcome to, knowing that you will be completely and perfectly integrated and back together as a human at whatever point you choose to open your eyes and return. This was a very, very, very powerful, very, very deep energetic process. So I encourage you to drink tons of water today. I encourage you to be very in touch with yourself and listening to what is right for you hereafter. Perhaps it's a nap later today. Perhaps it's just being a little bit quieter. Perhaps it is spending time outside. Here on the East Coast, we have a gorgeous spring-like day. And perhaps it is continuing to drop inside and re-feel and re-experience that internal, your innerverse, your internal universe. I will be doing another drop-in tomorrow, much shorter, Saturday. Again, surrounding what's going on in the world and in Ukraine with another theme that I'll know when, I'll know then. And again, please, if you'd like any more information on the, excuse me, very accelerated and profound transformational 3-month program coming up, please contact me, and I am happy to share more information and potentially set you in line for registering. So until tomorrow, and as always, it is with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on the planet. Be well. Bye bye.